Well, good morning, buenos dias, and welcome everyone to this fantastic day here in the Rio Grande Valley. My name is Dr. Francisco Cigarroa, and I am the Chancellor of the University of Texas System, and I really am so delighted to be with all of you today. It is said that every great journey begins with a single step. Today we are here to take that first step by breaking ground for a new medical academic building for the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Until this moment, we have been preparing for this journey in so many different ways and for many years before this date. And now today's groundbreaking is a tangible stepping stone in the journey to bring a medical school to this region of Texas. And in fact, we already have the founding dean of the medical school, Frank Fernandez. Frank, welcome. Now, with all great things, nothing happens alone, and no journey happens alone. And this is one that we could not have undertaken without many outstanding leaders who have embraced this plan and contributed greatly to its success. Far before me, there have been individuals who have put thousands of hours before this vision. I want to personally thank, from the deepest part of my heart, both Presidents Julieta Garcia of the University of Texas at Brownsville and President Robert Nelson of University of Texas Pan Am, whose vision and tireless enthusiasm have energized us all. They deserve And in that light, as we transition to UT-RGV, I also want to give my deep gratitude to interim Presidents Javitan Rodriguez and Bill Fannin, whose leadership is indispensable during the period as we move forward to the establishment of UT-RGV. I also want to thank an individual who's had a profound impact on my life, but has also been having a profound impact on the Rio Grande Valley, and that is UT System Special Advisor Ken Shine, who has been a wise and persevering advocate for expanding and improving medical education in Texas. And Ken, from the bottom of my heart, I salute you. I also want to thank someone who I first met at Aldo's restaurant years ago, and I had no idea who this individual was, or that I was going to be spending thousands of hours with this individual, and that is Gene Powell. And Gene Powell not only served as chairman of the Board of Regents, but now as vice chairman of the UT System Board of Regents. And because he and I have stood side by side in the planning stages of this journey from the very first day. We will finish what we began, expanding opportunities for the Rio Grande Valley and the people of Texas. And as we all know, Gene was born and raised in the Valley, and he will always and always keeps his promise. So Gene, thank you. And another individual who I've got to express my deepest gratitude is Regent Ernie Aliceta, who has also become one of the strongest and most active supporters of UT Rio Grande Valley, and a terrific representative of the Valley who brings authentic experience and community spirit to our discussions about the university and the medical school. He is also the only Aggie who wears or has a possession of more burnt orange ties than even the most diehard Longhorn fan. And so, Ernie, it has been such a privilege not only to establish a friendship with you, but also this professional relationship that we have with such an outstanding regent from the Rio Grande Valley. I salute you. And as we all know, the reason why we do this is because of our students. And I'm so proud that we have Student Regent Max Richards, who's here to become better informed and more involved in the educational and health issues affecting this most important part of the state. So Max, thank you also for serving on the Board of Regents. I also want to thank the men and women who represent us not only in the Texas Congress, but also in the Texas legislature, who has followed the lead of the United Valley delegation in passing the bill to create the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley and its medical school. With us today are legislators whom you have sent to both Washington, D.C. and to Austin to represent you and to help transform this great region. And Congressman Ruben Hinojosa, Senator Chuy Hinojosa, Representative Oscar Longoria, Representative Eddie Lucio, Representative Sergio Munoz Jr., and also we have representing many representatives of our cities, our great mayors of the Rio Grande Valley. So let's give all our elected officials. I wish I had time to name everyone here who's been so much a part of this great journey. But there is one remarkable man who has joined us today, and that is an individual who's been a family practice physician for over 43 years and a fearless pioneer in healthcare and medical education for the underserved population of South Texas and the Rio Grande Valley. And I want to acknowledge him, who's my good friend, my compadre, and my mentor, Dr. Mario Ramirez. Let's give him a big applause. I'm really delighted that he's here today. I remember, so my father, Dr. Joaquin Cigarroa, and Mario were, and my uncle Leo Cigarroa were basically a trio of individuals who were advancing medicine in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and also higher education. And Mario became involved with the UT Board of Regents. He became a regent. And so when my hand got thrown into the ring to become president of the Health Science Center, I called upon Mario Ramirez to see whether this was a good idea or not. I think it took him about 30 minutes of tears before realizing it might be a good idea, because he said, there's no way you can leave medicine for administration. Well, I told him I'd take call on the weekends, and I think I kept my promise, Mario. I will be going back to surgery, and I never let that slide by. So, Mario, thanks for that advice. Well, again, we're here to do this incredible groundbreaking for the medical school in the Valley. It's being built upon, the hard work that Mario Ramirez basically began. He opened the first hospital in Stark County in order to better serve his patients who had to travel either 55 miles to a hospital in McAllen or 90 miles to Laredo. I recall that my very first operation that I ever saw was at Stark County Hospital, or at a hospital, actually not Stark County Hospital, it was a small hospital that Mario Ramirez built. And I saw my very first operation, which was a cesarean section, and I think I passed out. And Mario quickly realized I wasn't doing so well, and he said, I passed out for an hour, at least you only 5 minutes. And so I always want to encourage somebody. Well, when the first hospital closed its doors in Roma, he was also instrumental in opening up another, which is Stark County Memorial Hospital. He has always had a steadfast advocate for the needs of medically underserved citizens in Texas, and his voice was heard by state officials, governors, and presidents of the United States. Governor Bill Clements appointed him as the regent of the University of Texas system, and Dr. Ramirez served from 1989 to 1995. During his tenure as vice president for South Texas programs at Health Science Center in San Antonio, he created and he nurtured the MedEd program, which has inspired more than 2,000 students in South Texas and the Valley to establish careers in the health sciences. On a personal note, as I've stated, my very first introduction to surgery was with Mario Ramirez, and I think if it wasn't for that moment, I probably would not have gone into surgery. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that Mario Ramirez is one of the greatest heroes that Texas has ever produced, and we're deeply honored that he's here today to voice his approval of a new medical school in the Rio Grande Valley. Mario, gracias a todos. Well, a little bit about this new building that we're constructing. The new medical academic building will be 88,000 square feet devoted to teaching facilities that promote faculty and student interaction at the earliest stages of medical school. It will include an auditorium, a digital library, clinical skills centers, preclinical laboratories, and anatomy teaching facility. It will also include multiple small classrooms, seminar rooms, and other features that offer opportunities for small group problem solving. Nothing happens without great people on this front either, and so I do want to recognize all the individuals such as Jim Kazin, who oversees facilities and planning, and all his group in facilities planning and construction that are so involved in making sure this building gets built on time and under budget. I think Tui also will like that. As a region-wide medical school interacting with and complementing faculties in Harlingen and Brownsville, this new building will make extensive use of online and distance learning and will support continuing education for all. Construction is scheduled to be completed in time to matriculate the first medical school class in the fall of 2016, and every time I say that, I see Frank Fernandez just shiver. But we like to set big goals. So as many of you know, I'm a third-generation physician. My grandfather practiced medicine in San Antonio and Laredo, and at the age of 89, actually 90 now, my father continues to practice medicine in Laredo. He started there in 1950, and he has never left this region of this great state. When I was a boy, he provided me with a tremendous experience in understanding the challenges faced by a medically underserved region along the Texas-Mexico border region. He took me with him on house calls. And some of you may be old enough to remember house calls, but seeing his love for his practice, I received a first-hand view, not only of the beautiful art of medicine, but how this art profoundly touches all classes, from the poorest to the wealthiest, without regard to economic status or homeland of origin. So not long ago, I asked my father if he had fulfilled everything he wanted to do as a physician. And I thought he was going to say a resounding yes. He actually did have one regret, and he conveyed that to me. He said, the only thing that I have regretted was that I've never had the opportunity to train young medical students and share his expertise with them, because there was no medical school in Laredo or the Texas-Mexico border region. Well, that will never happen again, and that's why it's a bit personal to me. I view the building of a new medical school in the Valley as a way to honor Mario Ramirez, my father, my uncle, my grandfather, and scores of physicians who have practiced medicine and are still practicing along the border and in South Texas. We have great physicians in this region of our state, and now they have an opportunity to educate the next generation, and so well deserved that is. They have waited their entire lifetimes to see young physicians study and train here, where their hometowns are, where their families are, and where they can remain and practice the beautiful art of medicine in their home place and in service to the people that they love. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're one step closer to completing that journey. Thank you all for joining us as we take that first step, and I promise you it will be a journey that astonishes you, and that it will transform the entire region of Texas. Let's give this vision an applause. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a wonderful friend, but also the president of the University of Texas Health Science Center San Antonio, Dr. Bill Henrich. Prior to being named president in 2009, Dr. Henrich served as the dean of the School of Medicine and the Vice President for Medical Affairs. Under his leadership, the Health Science Center at San Antonio has continued to manage and support the Regional Academic Health Center in the Valley, including the facility across the street from us, which is our research division. The Health Science Center has provided opportunities for hundreds of medical students to train here, and we're very grateful to President Henrich for his commitment to medical education in the Rio Grande Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of what we have been able to accomplish would not have been possible without the dedication of the administration at the Health Science Center and the faculty and the staff who understand how important it is to establish this medical school. And for that, I believe the entire Health Science Center at San Antonio deserves an applause. So Bill, welcome to the podium.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Cigarroa. Ladies and gentlemen, what a happy occasion. It is my honor and privilege to be here. Participating in the development of the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley School of Medicine has been a personal privilege for me and for all of my colleagues in San Antonio. And I'm proud of the work that's been done to get the project to this stage, to be able to break ground on this wonderful new building, and soon to see it rise out of the ground. You know, it's a unique position for one medical school to be so involved in the development of another medical school. That usually doesn't happen, but it has been a ringside seat on establishing the correct infrastructure for this project. So it's a particular moment of pride for all of us in San Antonio, and I'm here to represent them and their spirit in this meeting today. And for me, it's a particular personal moment of joy because we've had so many discussions over the years since I've been in San Antonio about how we were going to do this, how we were going to order things to get it done, and today it has certainly gotten tracked. I want to let the audience know that the first 15 students on the South Texas track have been admitted to the medical school in San Antonio. They'll do the first 2 years there, their last 2 years here, and in 4 years they're going to graduate from South Texas. A moment of great, great pride. So they're already on the way. They're coming here. My assignment is very simple today. I want to echo what the Chancellor has said about our Health Science Center staff, which has devoted its time and talent to the creation of success in this project. Jim Kaysen, mentioned by the Chancellor, is pivotal. He's a name all of you in the room should know because, you know, Chancellor, I told him he had to bring the project on time, but on budget. You just said it had to be under budget. Somebody get a memo to Jim to tell him that the goalposts have changed a little bit, but under his leadership, I'm sure they'll do it.
We'll have Gene Powell do it.
Gene Powell will do it, okay. Not worried at all about that. Ray Martin, Ray Martin assists Jim, and he does a wonderful job. You know, one of the key essential features of a new medical school is having a graduate medical education program. Doctors Lois Brady and Bob Nolan have been working on this from their perch in San Antonio. This is important because the doctors who do their residencies here ultimately have a substantial chance of staying here and practicing here. So it's important that these residency programs be very strong, and Lois and Bob deserve kudos for that. Flossie Edens-Follansby is managing the undergraduate medical education infrastructure. She's here on the second row. Raise your hand, Flossie. She's here with me today. Glad to have you here, Flossie. Thank you for your work. And 3 people I'll mention before signing off who deserve credit for the work they've done on the financing of all this and the integration with the University of Texas system are Gabe Hernandez, who's the Senior Associate Dean for Finance at the Medical School in San Antonio, Andrea Marks, our Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Michael Black, who's our Chief Operating Officer. All of these individuals have dedicated time to this project, and we'll make certain that we do stay on time, on budget, and bring this across the goal line. So once again, it is my pleasure to be here with you today. I couldn't be more excited. I bring greetings from San Antonio and good wishes for the success of this wonderful venture. It's my pleasure now to introduce the founding president of the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, Dr. Guy Bailey. Please welcome him to the podium.
It's an honor to be here and a pleasure, and I appreciate all of you being here as well. This is an important day, and I can't stress how important. What's happening right here in the Rio Grande Valley is the most significant thing happening in American higher education today. I want you to think about that. It's important for what's happening here, but it is the most significant thing happening in higher education in the United States, and it's happening right here, and it's happening because of you, because of the vision, the collective work of all of you. This is remarkable. People around the country notice this, and I can't tell you what an honor it is for me to be part of it. I've had a great career in higher education. I've done a lot of fun things, a lot of good things, but I've never been a part of anything this significant or this important, and I can't tell you what an honor it is. I want to thank all of you again for everything you've done. This is a tremendous vision, tremendous thing to be a part of, and I think you'll see the transformative effect of this as we go forward. By the way, I've been on the job 2 months. Hey, what better way to finish your second month on the job? It's tremendous. And if you look at the footprint of the new medical school buildings out there, it's tremendous. Think about the impact that will have. That'll have an impact in generating jobs. It'll have an impact on health care in the region. And you can't ask for anything better. The most pleasant part of my job today, however, is to introduce the founding dean of the medical school. Francisco Fernandez, and many of you have already met him, is our founding dean. He came to us from South Florida, where he was chair of psychiatry. I'm always careful not to talk about my dreams around Frank. He just, he is a psychiatrist, so just be careful. Working with Dean Fernandez has been one of the great pleasures of my career. He is truly a tremendous man, a great visionary. He works all the time, I know, because I get emails at 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning. And so I guess he's going to bed at 2 and getting up at 4. So, but his hard work and his vision will truly make this a tremendous medical school. Dean Fernandez.
Now, how can you interpret the dreams of a man that talks about mascots? And then I went and confused him by saying, you know, Guy, all I really need is the mascot to have ears. You could see him go, oh, God, it must be a psychiatric thing he's talking about, rolling his eyes. And I said, no. And I have pestered him with Photoshop pictures of different mascots with ears, a white coat, and the ears because I need to hang stethoscopes off the ears. So please, I don't mean to unduly influence you. Vote for something with ears, please. Now that wasn't too psychiatric. I want to thank everybody. This is really a historic moment here, and it's really thanks to all of you that this is history taking place here in the Valley. There are many states that have or are planning on having a new medical school. But all I can tell them, their legislators, their governors, their presidents, their chancellors, is eat your heart out. And the reason that I say that is because I don't think any one of them, I could be wrong and corrected, but I don't think any one of them has the mission that we have here. Your new medical school is going to have a central role to see your dream become a reality by bringing the best and the brightest students, the best and the brightest teachers, the best and the brightest researchers, and the best and the brightest doctors here to the Valley. Together, we will provide a greatly enhanced clinical education program which already exists thanks to the good work, as Dr. Heinrich said about Dean Gonzalez and his A-team, that has been here on the ground, creating the opportunities to have a top-notch third-year and fourth-year experiences for these medical students. Just think of it. 50% of my job has already been done. I have to expand the scope of that work to include the MS1s and MS2s. It would also revolutionize the way that technology and competency-based education and innovation will occur. It is so exciting to be part of a program that's going to be middle school to medical school, M2M. And it need not be medical school, it could be master's. And the learning platforms and synergies and energies that will create with our hospital partners and with the university. Together you're going to produce outstanding science, research, and leading to better medical treatments and technologies to create the opportunities that people talk about connecting the science that will go on with the community in a transformative way. So we're going to improve not just health, but life. Life in the Rio Grande Valley. Now, you heard Dr. Bailey say that I was his only management problem, because it's only the two of us. So he has been desperately hunting, not just for a mascot, but for a recruit that he could call his own. So I am sure it's to say, go deal with Dean Fernandez. So I am pleased to announce that we have jointly found an honorary recruit. Guy, would you join me up here, please? The recruit has ears, by the way. I just wanted to and does wear a stethoscope, and you could call him a weekender because I think he does just medicine on the weekends. So I'm pleased that he will carry this appointment at UT-RGV College of Medicine. So, Dr. Cigarroa, will you please join us here? Guy, take it away.
Okay. This certificate indicates that you are our first employee, other than Frank. And I can't tell you, I mean, how do you have better employees than Dean Fernandez, Chancellor Cigarroa? Right. Anyway, what this does is recognize your vision and your role. And I don't think that any of us can underestimate the role that you've played here. Your vision will transform this entire area forever. And we are eternally grateful to you for that. Thank you so much.
This is good, and it's pro bono. Good luck for the next one.
Wait, I think they want us back for okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
We deeply appreciate it.
Does this mean I got two bosses?
You're still the boss. You're still the boss. Thank you.
So we're glad that we could give you the respect and admiration in this way. Now I will tell you, Chancellor, that one was printed at home. The real one will be forthcoming. But now I'm only on the job 3 months. I beat Dr. Bailey by 1 month getting here. It's like those bumper stickers from about 30 years ago. I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as quick as I could. After a journey throughout the United States, having been here back in the 80s through the mid-90s. Our community is intense and resilient and strong, and no matter what the differences are, in the end, the Valley stands united with this shared belief and goals for our community and our family. And I have met no one that is easily indomitable. We have a shared geography, one heck of a beautiful beach, shared, and shared values, and now you share a university with a medical school that has one mission for solutions for our region. In the midst of all this, I've shared my Jeep with one man, one person who has multiple distinctions and honors, a very thoughtful man who only expects one thing. Well, he expects two out of me. And I'm not sure which one's number one, but it's both excellence and the LCME. Okay? They flip-flop every once in a while. But it's excellence in every arena that's part of the mission of every medical school. So education for sure, creating the academic home by way of the research, service, and patient care. Fortunately, he has been my writing partner through the valley, sharing everything, including conference calls along the way, but also sharing his insights, his wisdom, and his humor. And while I know I'm borrowing a phrase from a beer company, this is terrible, he is the most extraordinary man in the world. And this is the person that I have the distinct honor to call into the podium. So, Dr. Shine.
Frank, thank you for a remarkable invitation. I do want you to know that while we share the Jeep, I have learned that in the 3 months that Frank has been here, in addition to all of the other things he's done academically, he knows where the best restaurants are. Not only that, if you go to the restaurant with him, you can be sure that at least half a dozen people will come over to the table to say hello and ask for something. So he's really been right in the middle of South Texas very quickly, believe me. One of the remarkable things about this school, as already been alluded to, is the level and extent of community support. That community support has been present for decades and has been consummated recently in a number of very critical forms. Even before the legislature approved the new university and the new medical school, the leaders of 4 of the cities in Hidalgo County, plus the leader of the county, Judge Garcia, indicated that they would be prepared to make a commitment of $50 million over 10 years in support of the medical school. That was remarkable. It was a statement that the communities, that the local leadership was prepared to put real support, financial support and means into this new institution. The monies will be used to support the operations of that medical school, including research, education, and patient care here in Hidalgo County. The monies will be used in collaboration with the $10 million a year, which the Regents of the University of Texas pledged for 10 years, and state support, which will be essential, and in the next session, hopefully will be increased so that we can achieve our goal, which is to create here at UT-RGV a truly great medical school. That's the only thing we want. I want to particularly thank Ramiro Garza, the city manager of Edinburg, and all the other city managers and the county executives who worked very hard to put together the Memorandum of Understanding, which we will be signing in the next few moments. It is a remarkable accomplishment. The County of Hidalgo has committed $1 million in this MOU, McAllen $2 million, Edinburg $1 million, Pharr $500,000, and Mission $250,000. These are very significant, substantial commitments to the success of this new medical school, and it's appropriate. And it's appropriate that we do this signing at the time that we are breaking the ground on the medical school here in Edinburg as part of this activity. I want to thank the mayors, the leadership of the county, and all the other members of the legislative bodies, councils and so forth, for agreeing to make this kind of commitment. We thank you, and we pledge to you that our commitment to build a medical school of the very first class in all aspects of what it does. And I know that we're going to make you proud. It's been a long process to get to this point, and it's now my pleasure to introduce a man who's been on our side and by our side every step of the way. He authored the legislation to create the new university and the School of Medicine, as well as the hospital district in Hidalgo County. He was instrumental in drafting the Memorandum of Understanding and has worked with each of the cities and county to garner countywide support. We're so grateful for such a supportive partner and a strong advocate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa.
Thank you so much being here present on this very special day. I remember about 15 years ago when we first broke groundbreaking ceremony for the RAC. And Senator Eddie Lucio and myself, for many, many years, for the last 15, 20 years, we've been working to bring a medical school here to South Texas. And we know the benefits we'll receive in terms of increased health care, more doctors, better education, expand our economy, and bring down many related healthcare businesses. But I just have to say a few words about my delegation. It's important to understand how we got here, that to pass legislation, you need teamwork. And the valid delegation, from Representative Terry Canales to Oscar Longoria, to Sergio Munoz, to Bobby Guerra, Armando Martinez, Eddie Lucio III, Rene Olivera, and Senator Eddie Lucio. And our staff worked many long hours negotiating, drafting legislation. I think we drafted this bill at least 25, 30 times. Right, Jennifer? The staff does all that work. And they work long hours late into the night. But at the end of the day, it's us working together as a community, with the regents, with the UT system, the administration, with our mayors and local public officials, our community leaders, to make this a reality. And here we are. And this is a very important step, not only to deal with health care for our indigent, but for health care for all of us. It's extremely important that we have a moment in history for us here in the Valley, and we have seized that moment to reach our goal and create a better life for all of us here in South Texas. And we are not finished yet, but this team will remain together, working towards the day when we have a full-fledged medical school here in South Texas. And I will pledge to you that next session, the Val delegation will continue to work together as a team. And yes, many times we have a difference of opinion. We try to work those issues out and do what's best for us here in the Rio Grande Valley. And thank you so much for being here today. And I look forward to the future. We'll continue our mission. We'll continue our goals to bring about a first-class medical school to the Rio Grande Valley. And one of those key leaders here in the Valley was my good friend, Mayor Richard Garcia. Richard took the lead and was very instrumental in making sure that we kept everybody on the same page. And let me introduce my good friend, Mayor Richard Garcia.
Thank you for the kind words, Senator. And I do remember you talked about 15 years ago, about 11 years ago in '03, when we inaugurated that first building. It was under a tent, about 120 degrees, and I want to congratulate whoever decided to do this inside today. So I'll try to be brief. Some years ago, a great American said, "I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirit, and education and culture for their minds." 87 years ago, way before that quote became famous, this community had the audacity, the same dream, the same hope. For 87 years, This university has been committed to this community and to this region. And for 87 years, we have witnessed the transformation from what was a 2-year college to what we now know as the University of Texas Pan American, and soon to become the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Today, we know that we gather to celebrate another milestone by this great institution, the groundbreaking for this Rio Grande Valley Medical School. And Dr. Cigarroa, we, the city of Edinburg, and all our neighboring communities, thank you for your vote of confidence. You and the rest of the University of Texas system, as is very well represented here today, your audacity has morphed us into a new university and brought us a new medical school. You believed in us, and we want you to know that we believe in you too. The cities of Edinburg, McAllen, Mission, Pharr, County of Hidalgo, and the entire Valley region continue to work together. We're committed to ensuring that this medical school lives up to its full potential, and we want you to know that we are steadfast in our resolve to make sure that the funding resources are in place, that this medical school produces the doctors that our region so desperately needs, and that ultimately together we will have built a better and a healthier community. Some years ago, the Texas Tomorrow Fund provided a vehicle to ensure our children's educational tomorrow. My friend and former law partner, County Judge Ramon Garcia, will explain to us how this community will shortly have the opportunity to make a monumentous investment further ensuring our children's educational tomorrow. And to all of you, and about Ramon, I brings to mind, I mentioned we were law partners, and I think I made a good call on getting involved in this one. I've made some not so good calls in the past, and we were partners. Ramon told me that he wanted to move on to civil practice, that was the future of law in the Valley, and we parted ways, and I continued in my realm of the law, and Ramon became one of the most successful and therefore wealthy civil lawyers in the Valley. About the same time, or not long before that, I remember sitting watching the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was a drummer with a rock group when I was young, and we were both in high school together, and there was a group on Ed Sullivan Show, and my band used to play soul music back then, and I made the prediction that nobody would remember those guys in 6 months, and those were the Beatles, so I have to own up to those mistakes. But I have no doubt that the decision today, again, to all of you, Dr. Cigarroa, my new friend, Dr. Fernandez, my friend, neighbor, colleague on the Economic Development Board, and our present leader, and I guess the dubious honor of being the last leader for UTPA, Dr. Avidan Rodriguez. To all of you and you know, that's a long line of great leadership that we've had at UTPA. And I'd be remiss to mention in working towards this university. I know I saw him here. I haven't said hello to him, but our beloved Dr. Robert Nelson, I remember when we were working this, me telling him, Robert, you know, you may be talking yourself out of a job here. And he said, you know, this is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than all of us. So I think we should give him a big hand for all of his work. And again, I thank you all for devoting your valuable time, your energy, and your heart to ensuring educational excellence and distinction for tomorrow. To all of you that are here, that helped, that will continue to help, that provide leadership, my friends the mayors sitting over there, Jim and Polo and Beto and Tony and all of you in this room are here for a reason. All of you have worked, have aspired, have dreamed, and to you I say, mis respetos.
As an attorney, the mayor knows that there's always an opportunity for cross-examination. So it's my privilege to introduce you to someone who can respond. The county judge in Hidalgo County has been, again, one of those individuals who has been continually supportive of efforts to create this institution and has provided extraordinary leadership in a very complex set of issues in order to obtain the kind of support that we're talking about. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Hidalgo County Judge Ramon Garcia.
Well, good morning. Man, what a beautiful day. I'm glad Richard, by the way, thank you, Richard, for those kind words. I'm glad he took it beyond 15 years. I'm glad he went back to 1927. Whoever those visionaries were that decided to set up an institution of higher learning here in South Texas. They'd been involved in trying to attract all those people from the Midwest to bring them down to invest, develop our area, but they saw the need for higher education, and they went out there and they established it. Edinburg Junior College, 1927, two-year institution, less than 50,000 people living in this area at the time. But what a benefit to this South Texas community through the years. Tremendous. There is no downside to education, and they certainly demonstrated it. Well, I'm a product. I got out and I graduated in 1970. Chewy and I were in it together, and Chewy had just come back from Vietnam as a Marine, and he went on to law school like I did and Richard did. But it's been a big plus to a lot of people in our South Texas community. I don't think that they could have imagined the positive impact that facility back then was going to have on our area, but it has. It has. Now, during the process, we had to do some negotiating. We had to sit down and visit with the University of Texas System, the 800-pound gorilla on the block. And the voice and face of the UT system was Dr. Cigarroa. So we got to know each other. We went to his office. He came down. We went to testify at different committees, and we finally sat down in McAllen at our last and final meeting, and we had worked out an agreement that we're about to get involved in executing. And he makes a comment. He says, "This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." And I point out, first of all, I think this guy's been seeing too many old movies. And I point out, and I said, you realize that that comment was made by Humphrey Bogart playing the role of Rick in Casablanca there towards the end, when he put his arm around Louis, the French captain, and said, "Louis, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." And I was trying to make a joke out of it, not realizing at the time that it was such a profound statement, because this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. Now, I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Mike Nevares and other individuals that have been very involved in getting us here today. In my lifetime, there's been Senator Jim Bates, Senator Raul Longoria, Senator Carlos Truan. These are people that were at the table or tried to get on the table as best they could back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, when really the state didn't care much about our South Texas community. And I remember Mike being our president and having to go during budget season to try to get money for our area. And when he was there, one time he came back and he came back with about 18 or 20 million dollars. Of course, at that time we thought he'd hit the mother lode. Today, this year alone, we've received 345 million to our area. That's a tremendous, tremendous benefit. And we certainly want to acknowledge and thank all of the efforts of Dr. Cigarroa and company, because all of us that are involved in bureaucracies know that if the guy at the top, if the chief doesn't want it, it just ain't going to happen. So obviously he cared enough to want it. We just needed to work out the fine details, which we have, and we did, and we're about to acknowledge. But thank you for all of the individuals that have been involved, that have been acknowledged here today, and thank you all for being here.
I'd like to call our mayors and the county judge forward. We have here a copy of the Memorandum of Understanding, and we're going to ask each of the mayors and the county judge to sign that agreement. You've already met Mayor Richard Garcia of Edinburg, who's made some comments, and you've met Judge Ramon Garcia of Hidalgo County. We're also joined by Mayor James Darling of McAllen. Jim, why don't you just wave to the crowd? Norberto Salinas of Mission. Beto, there he is, right here. And Mayor Leo Palacios of Pharr. Thank you for being here. We're very grateful to these mayors for the work that they have done, and also to, again, the members of their city councils, the county commissioners, all of the others who played a crucial role in this activity.
You'll have to excuse me, the lawyer. I should read this first.
It's the same one we showed you before, Mr. Mayor. No sleight of hand.
You read it the first time.
Before we conclude this portion of our program, I would just like to reemphasize that our view of this medical school is that it is not only going to provide enormous benefits.
All I can say is echo what the previous speakers have commented on today, and the thank yous to each of you in the room and all that you've done. I want to bring you greetings from the Board of Regents at the University of Texas. We had a great two-day meeting last week. All of them asked me to wish you well and tell you how proud they are of all that you have accomplished in getting this done, and how much they appreciate being your partner in this endeavor. As you all have heard, some of you have heard before, this goes a long way back with me. My grandparents moved here in the late teens. My grandfather, Powell, was a graduate of the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston as a pharmacist. Since he was a pharmacist, that meant he had a little bit of medical training, so they sent him to France during World War I to be a medic. When he came back, he married my grandmother, and they moved to Mercedes, where he ran a drugstore for a man out of San Antonio. And later, he came to Weslaco when W.E. Sturt Land Company was cutting Weslaco out of the brush, picked out a lot for his drugstore and his house, and lived there until the 50s when he passed away. He was known as Doc Powell because he was the only medical resource that the people of the Mid-Valley had. The roads were dirt and sand and very, very often muddy, and people came to his house during the night looking for medicine, looking to be taken care of. My parents were born in 1923 in Weslaco and in Mercedes. No hospital in those days. They were both born at home, and they were lifelong advocates of higher education. And you've heard that my mother, in 1940, rode the bus from Mercedes to Hidalgo County Junior College and Edinburg Junior College. And she is very proud today to be a graduate of that institution. She is alive and well and will be 91 in October. And I was at her house Sunday afternoon, and she said to wish all of you well and how proud she was of the Rio Grande Valley. And she said, and you haven't done bad either. I said, I'll give you credit. So my purpose today is to wrap this up. It's been a long, long journey. I had the privilege of playing football for Coach Darrell Royal, and he only allowed us to have one statement in the room. Many of you all that play sports know that coaches post things all over the locker room to inspire people. Coach Royal had one statement over the door as we left the locker room. And the statement was, there is no such thing as luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And what he would tell us over and over, that in life and in football, you don't win games in September and October and November. You win games in March and April and May and June by getting ready, by working out, by conditioning yourself and getting prepared. And he would say to us, you know, it'll be the third or fourth quarter. Everybody will be tired. We'll be up by 2 points. A running back will come off tackle. You'll either have the stamina to make the tackle and stop him, and we win the game, or you'll be a half step behind because you didn't condition yourself. You didn't get prepared. The opportunity is going to present itself to you at some point in your life, and you're either going to take advantage of the opportunity or you're not. And the only way you'll be able to take advantage is if you've gotten prepared. And very often you don't know what you're getting prepared for. Everybody in this room and all of your forefathers and my grandparents were getting us ready. They really worked really hard at this. I mean, how many meetings have people in this room, how many hours have you contributed going to meetings, going to Austin to testify, going to Washington to testify, asking for money, meeting with the senators, meeting with our congressmen, belonging to Chamber of Commerce committees. I was here till I was 36. I participated in many of those meetings. We had some successes. We have Pan American. We had Brownsville, UT Brownsville partnership with Southmost. We didn't have PUF money. And it was a shame, it was a struggle. So when I became chairman of the board in 2011, or actually, I'll step back, I came to the Board of Regents in the spring of 2009. At the same time, the Chancellor was coming on as the new Chancellor. We were rookies together. And then I have no idea how I became chairman in 2011, but I did, and the Chancellor and I started working together. He was writing his framework for excellence, which came out of a couple of task forces that we were working on that spring. And he came to me with a list of the things he wanted to accomplish and put in his framework, and one of them was South Texas. And one of them was the health of Texas. And neither one of us knew how we were going to do this. But before long, we kept going and we kept working and we kept trying. And the Chancellor called me in October of 2012. And I remember that's just a month and a half before the session starts in 2013. So we had run right up against the finish line. And he said it was 11:30, 11:45 at night. He just finished a transplant. He said, I have an idea. Said, Steve Collins in our legal department has come up with an idea for this new university. And if we get it passed by 2/3 majority, we get PUF money. And if we get PUF money, we change the world. And I don't know how long we talked. I remember sitting there staring out in the darkness, listening to this guy, thinking, you know, I really love this guy. He's really smart, he's really good, and he may be nuts. But Francisco and I, about 1 o'clock, 1:30, something like that, we finally agreed that we had no other choice but to go forward. And think about it, we're not even 2 years from that day. Now, all of our forefathers spent all those years getting us prepared. And we're standing on their shoulders because they did all the hard spade work. They did all the hard work behind us. So it made it somewhat easier for us to bring everybody together around a central idea. Form a new university, form a new medical school, and bring PUF money to the valley. And Senator Hinojosa, you know, we've talked about this. All of a sudden we've got, what would you say, Judge, 300 million plus? I mean, between friends, $1 million or $2 million, I don't know exactly how much it is. It's a lot of money. And I'm very, very proud of it. So I said to Pedro Reyes, our Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs from Alamo, Texas, and to Francisco Cigarroa from Laredo, and we're sitting in the room with me being from Weslaco, I said, guys, if we can't get this done now with the three of us in the leadership, shame on us. And I wanted to tell you, we could never have done it without the support of the regents. The South Texas delegation did a fantastic job, absolutely outstanding. The citizens of South Texas did a fantastic job. And I'm here to thank you and to congratulate you and tell you that the regents could not be more proud of you. And to close this up, I think that we need to give a round of applause and appreciation to the guy who did this with us and who led us and who was so strong for us. And he's become a very, very dear, close friend. There are 10 siblings in the Cigarroa family, and I have been officially added as number 11. And I could not be more proud of a man than Francisco Cigarroa, someone that left Laredo High School, one of the poorest high schools in the nation, who went to Yale, went on to Mass General, came back, went to Hopkins to work, and then came back to San Antonio and led that institution, and then got drafted in 2000, at the end of 2008, to start a role as chancellor in 2009. And I think he has done an incredible job. He has set us on a path at both the UT system and in the state of Texas. And I would tell you that the Board of Regents and the chancellor's job has never, ever been stronger. I think Ernie will agree with me that the board has never been in a stronger position. We've never been more together. We just hired a great new chancellor that you've all heard about, but he'll go a long way before he tops Francisco Cigarroa. So would you all please stand and give this man a round of applause? Pedro, and I want you all to, another native son, when has the University of Texas system had a young man from Alamo, Texas, leading the academic affairs of this great institution? We're so proud of you, Pedro.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And he still won't say Viva Puntaras to me. Thank you all.